our next guest. I think he has more papers in front of him than I do here in front of me.
He is well prepared.
Dr. Keeley, they always make fun of all the amount of papers that I have scattered all over the place, but you're putting me to shame over here. But you're armed with a lot of knowledge, and so we want to get right to it. We're speaking with Dr. Dave Keely. He is with Tobacco Free York County Coalition. And Dr. Keely, you're going to be the focus tonight on the Rock Hill School District's Parent Academy's ongoing discussion, which tackles everything from mental health to our physical health to everything else in between. Your topic is about teen vaping, cannabis, and what parents should know. You can view it live tonight, 6 to 7. We're giving you a preview of it, though, right now. So good morning to you, Dr. Keely.
Well, good morning. Good to be here.
So let's jump right on in. Teen vaping, cannabis, and what parents should know. What should parents know?
Parents should know that kids are mixing cannabis derivatives into vape liquid. And this has become a real big problem. Commander B.J. Kennedy from the Multi-Jurisdictional Drug Enforcement Unit is going to be on with me tonight. And he's going to talk about the schools are now testing the confiscated vapes. They have to be sent to Spartanburg because the lab here doesn't test them, and they are finding the what's called THC-9, the traditional illegal cannabis, and they're also finding Delta-8 and Delta-10, which are able to be sold legally in South Carolina because they are a hemp-derived derivative that does not have a high level or has a very minimal level of the THC-9.
So they're just finding loopholes and ways to continue to get more into their system.
Right. And the scariest thing is that we're now aware that fentanyl-laced cartridges are being marketed, and kids don't know. They're buying the THC cartridges, which may be laced with fentanyl. The good news so far is that Commander Kennedy says that they have not uncovered any fentanyl-laced cartridges in York County so far.
How big of a problem is vaping within York County?
Vaping has replaced smoking cigarettes. We have about anywhere from 25 to 27% of kids in high school who are using some tobacco product. And whereas 10 years ago it was mostly cigarettes, now the cigarette smoking is down to about 5 to 6%. And we have 20 to 22% of kids, that's 1 in 5, who are vaping.
And it's at all levels of school, sadly, right?
Yes.
That's got to be probably the most concerning. Elementary, middle, and high school. I would assume it's more alarming. It's alarming as a parent to hear that. For those that are on the front lines, you've got to be scratching your heads thinking, like, what else can we be saying, and what else can you do? I mean, what else can you tell folks about vaping that they have not heard already, or that you see, again, being on the front lines?
Well, there's no safe tobacco product that has nicotine. And vaping has heavy metals, has the same liquid that's in car antifreeze. And, that's being heated into an aerosol. It's not water vapor. It's an aerosol with these chemicals in it, and it's going down in the lungs. You remember in 2021 we had the EVALI, which they found it was vitamin E that was in the vape liquid that was causing lung damage in kids. And there were deaths. So that's been addressed. But we don't know the long term, and we do know that nicotine is as addictive as heroin. And it only takes 2 or 3 times vaping nicotine to where the brain says, I want more. Parents, when your child leaves elementary school and enters the middle school, you've got to have the conversation about what's going on, because the percentages of kids 7th grade and on up, is reaching, the 25% and above level. So they're going to see it, and it's going to be in the bathrooms.
What is the equivalent? I know a lot of people do vape because they think it's, this is an oxymoron, but more healthy. It's not a healthy choice. It's an alternative. But what is the equivalent? We have heard that one cartridge is like smoking a whole pack of cigarettes. Is that correct?
That is correct. You're probably familiar with the Juul, and one Juul cartridge is the equivalent of smoking a whole. The amount of nicotine that's going in the body is equivalent to one whole pack of burned cigarettes. And we find that kids are using 2 Juuls a day. So that is like smoking the equivalent nicotine of 2 packs of cigarettes. So and we're very concerned because the brain, under age 25, the brain is still developing. The areas of the brain that for risk-taking behavior, for anxiety and mood, and actually learning, the brain being ready to learn, and memory, those parts of the brain we now know are being affected by nicotine in the bloodstream and going to the brain.
Yeah, we'll just repeat that again for our audience. That again, vaping, one cartridge equals
a whole pack, the equivalent nicotine from one whole pack of smoked cigarettes. Yeah.
And vaping is marketed. That's why we're seeing the rise in vaping, right? It's marketed to a younger generation demographic.
Yeah. The tobacco industry, people are dying at older ages, from using smoking tobacco. They've got to replace their customer base, and their raspberry, peach, blueberry cotton candy. These are flavors that are being marketed, and that's not what a typical 25 or 30-year-old maybe would choose.
I know we're armed with a lot of knowledge here. We're running up against a break, but we are seeing some positive signs. You were sharing with us a moment ago before the microphones turned on that there's some hopeful, right, headlines that are coming through our 11th graders here in the York County area.
Yeah, the school districts all cooperate with All On Board Coalition to do a risk perception survey, and it's done in the fall, and it was done last fall. And it showed that between 2021 and 2023 that we had almost a 5% increase in the percentage of kids who see vaping as risky. And as actually, as it goes to the higher level, 11th grade, that actually increased to almost 10%. So I think All On Board and Keystone and Tobacco Free York County Coalition, I think we're getting some traction, but there's still 25% of kids that are being exposed to this.
We're swimming against the current, basically.
Right.
But at least the 11th graders are realizing that if they're doing it, that it's not right. So it's moving in the right direction for sure. Well, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Dr. Keeley's going to get a whole hour tonight from 6 to 7. Check out the Parent Academy. It's through the Rock Hill School District. It's on the YouTube channel. It's live. If you can't make it live, they archive all the episodes. You can go back and watch years worth of episodes. So if you want to binge watch something with your family,
that's right.
This might be a new show that you might binge watch. They tackle all kind of topics. And again, the topic tonight's going to be teen vaping, cannabis, and what parents should know. Dr. Dave Keely from Tobacco Free York County, the coalition here. We appreciate you being on the front lines and being armed with so much knowledge to help educate us.